what's very interesting, and this is like, I find this to be the coolest part about this, is because I think a lot of times what people imagine when they hear like these certain ideas is like is something um spectacular, is like something like. But the crazy part is, what I've learned is like, to organize against being legible to the political and legible to political institutions and different things like that comes in the most minute decisions, right? And what those things produce in the future options that open up to you through those decisions. For instance, like, I'll speak on that on a campus level, and then I'll speak on it on a broader level. On a campus level, we
Yeah,
had
of
an issue
course.
after the encampments, right? Where there
Hmm.
there were conversations about trying to have conversations with the administration about getting certain needs met, right? Now, this was happening in pro-Palestine organizing spaces, right? At the same time, in the Black community, and this is something I'd been advocating for about 2 years at that point, I was saying we don't need to be registering our student organizations, right? Especially ones that are focused on organizing students, right? So with Black mindedness, from the very jump, the first thing we said was we will not register our student organization, right? And we will not become a university initiative. In no way will we be something that the university can name as existing, right?
Interesting.
Never, right? And this was a hard line we held. And while we were organizing and while we were building up our stuff, while we were holding different spaces and, what I mean, doing different kind of political education type events without getting formal recognition, right? We had administrators come up to newer members, right? Trying to go behind my back and other people's back, come up to newer members and be like, hey, y'all should really register this as a nonprofit. Hey, y'all should really, what's it called? Start doing the RSO process so y'all can get funding from us. Y'all should really make this an initiative with the university so you can get a bigger platform, right? But it's like, no, we're not going to do that, right? Instead, what we did was we said, okay, we are going to make it to where intentionally we don't have access to anything you can offer us, nothing you can offer us, right? And instead, what we're going to do is we're going to walk into the dorm where Black freshmen live, and we're going to knock on every single door every single week. We're going to make it a rule amongst each other that when we see Black people walking on campus, we're going to walk up to them and we're going to have these flyers with us and we're going to tell them about what we're doing. Within 4 or 5 months,
Hmm.
like large swaths of the Black community knew exactly who we were, knew exactly what we do, and that dynamic persists to this day. And you know what else happened through it was that even the organizations that were registered and were not operating like that do a lot of the exact same practices that we do in order to bring people out. So now there's conversations about not leaning on the university so much and leaning more into each other that weren't possible until we took that step to say, we will not buy into the university structure and believe that they have more to offer us than our community does, right? That's the
Yeah.
smallest decision, right? Just saying we're not going to do this. That small act of refusal led to a whole different way of building happening, right? And that's the same type of thing that has happened as we've moved towards more grassroots stuff. What have we said? We've said, okay, we are not going to become a nonprofit. We are never going to have a bank account. We are never going to have any of these things. We defined our purpose, right, and our mission, that is to organize, to meet community needs, to build grassroots power, and further our people's self-determination. We defined our mission as something that we don't need those things to do, right? And
Yeah.
because we did that, now it's a thing of, whenever we're talking about, oh, how do we get money for this thing? It's not a question of, okay, let's fundraise, get money into our account, and then do this, right? The question for us now is, okay, actually, what resources are there in the area that can help support this need? And how do we connect that properly? How do we get people where we're at to be able to connect to these resources better? How do we connect this organization to this organization to this infrastructure? And you see what's being created is a kind of coordinating node in a broader struggle, right? That enables that coordination to happen without legibility and without recognition from the government, right? And that small decision, we're not going to have a bank account. We are not going to be a nonprofit. That's an act of refusal that is so minuscule and can seem inconsequential to some, but that it produces a different way that you build. And this is why I say the big thing
Yeah.
is orientation. Orientation.